What up, everybody? It is Jay Smooth coming at you live from Lit Gaming, and this is February 2026 for Are They Lit Though? We have Subnautica Below Zero, we have Ultros, we have Undisputed, and Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. So stay tuned for my reviews of all of these games, and let's find out if they're lit. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to shut up and PTFO. Subnautica Below Zero is an open world survival action adventure game developed and published by Unknown Worlds Entertainment. The game is a spin off to Subnautica. Introduced in early access via Steam and the Epic Game Store in January 2019, Subnautica Below Zero was released for Mac OS, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox Series consoles on May 14, 2021. The physical version of the game were published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. It received generally positive reviews from critics. Subnautica Below Zero, once again, is a survival adventure game set in an open world environment and played from a first person perspective. The player's controls xenologist Robin Ayu, who lands on ocean planet 4546b in pursuit of answers about her sister's mysterious death. Like its predecessor, gameplay involves exploring and surviving in alien environments while also completing objectives to advance the game's plot. Players collect resources, construct tools, build bases and submersibles, and interact with the planet's wildlife. To survive and progress, the player must collect raw materials from the environment, including various minerals, flora samples, and fish, while avoiding encountering threats like hostile fauna and blinding snowstorms. They must also acquire blueprints to craft new items, either through finding and opening data boxes in the world or by scanning fragments of the item. Generally, the player must face harsher environments the further they progress, requiring better equipment or upgrades for ones like suits that resist the cold, oxygen tanks with higher capacities, or vehicles that can withstand deeper waters. The game primarily takes place underwater, but unlike its predecessor, there are much more expansive and dangerous land-based areas to explore. There are structures and wrecks to find both above ground and underwater, which serve as key locations for the story, providing blueprints and recordings of conversations that slowly reveal lore. Alongside returning mechanics such as oxygen, hunger, and thirst, players now have a body heat gauge which comes into play when walking on land. It functions much like the oxygen gauge does underwater. The player will gradually lose body heat and freeze unless they replenish their body heat by jumping into water, finding shelter, consuming certain items, or standing next to a heat source. Upon beginning a new game, players must select the difficulty mode from the following five. Survival. The player must manage health, hunger, thirst, oxygen, and temperature. Upon death, they respawn, but certain items are lost from their inventory. This is the standard game mode. Freedom. Just like survival, but with hunger and thirst disabled. Hardcore. Survival mode with permadeath. If the player dies, the player would not respawn and their save file is deleted. Creative. Health, hunger, thirst, oxygen, and temperature are disabled. All the crafting blueprints are available at the start, and no resources are required to craft. Additionally, the submersibles, a sea glide, mobile vehicle bay, knife, flashlight, habitat builder, scanner, and propulsion cannon are provided. They do not need an energy source and cannot be damaged unless the player damages them intentionally. Custom. Various options are given to customize the game, such as weather, day and night length, creature spawn rates, and aggression. So I played this game for a good 30 minutes and I enjoyed it. It was different, but there's nothing wrong with that. It is an indie title, which kind of blew up, in my opinion, because it feels more like an indie title to me. I mean, you're not doing too much, you're exploring the water and the planet, and you're gonna further the plot. And I think it's cool. You have to craft your tools. And also for artists out there, you can use the creative and custom modes to make your own creations. If you want to make like
Any type of animated series that involves underwater, just something, people do all kinds of cool stuff with video these days. So, and I don't see why they couldn't use creative and custom modes to do something like that. Specifically creative though, because you have everything at your disposal to go ahead and build what you want, so you can make your own whatever, based off the game's resources, of course. So I'm gonna say that this game is lit. I had a lot of fun, and I'm probably gonna actually keep it on my PS5 and finish it. So that's my thoughts, or those are my thoughts on Subnautica, um, Below Zero, and yeah, you should give it a try. Ultros. Ultros is a 2024 Metroidvania video game developed by Hadok and published by Kepler Interactive. Players control a space traveler who wakes on an alien spaceship that imprisons a demon. It is available for Mac OS, Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox Series consoles. Ultros receives generally positive reviews from critics. Players control a space traveler who wakes on a spaceship called the Sarcophagus, which imprisons a demon named Ultros. Players must prevent Ultros from waking. The ship has become overgrown with plant life, and various aliens live on board. Interacting with these aliens can give players seeds, which can grow into edible plants. Because of the endless time loop, some of the aliens have been driven mad and are now bosses that must be defeated in combat. Players have different kinds of attacks. Eating plants and defeated bosses allows players to increase their skills. Making precision attacks with advanced skills to defeat bosses gives players more powerful power ups. The time loop allows players to return to the start of the game. Although some aspects are kept, player skills are reset after each loop. However, their skills are now easier to increase. The world changes too, based on players' choices in previous time loops, which can open previously inaccessible areas. This is often done via jumping on platforms, as in Metroidvania games. Dying causes players to return to their last save point. The artist, Nicholas Ackerblad, said he wanted to create a coherent world. As a child, he believed Sonic the Hedgehog was more coherent than the competing Super Mario series, which he said felt like an amalgam of very different ideas. The design of the sarcophagus was influenced by H.P. Lovecraft's depiction of Cthulhu, which retains an influence on our reality despite being trapped elsewhere. Ackerblad wanted to evoke the ecologically themed terror and wonder of Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, and the difficulty of communicating with a non-human intelligence of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The time loop mechanic was designed to mimic karma, so that actions in one life carried forward to the next. The developers also wanted players to be able to experience decisions from different perspectives. The studio is based in Sweden, but composer Oscar Rodelius traveled to Peru to record indigenous instruments and ambient sounds in the Amazon rainforest. He then pitch shifted the sounds and experimented to find ways to balance, making them both familiar and otherworldly. Ultros was released to Mac OS, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Windows on February 13th, 2024. And for Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series consoles 1 year later on February 13th, 2025. Ultros received positive reviews on Metacritic. Fellow review aggregator OpenCritic assessed that the game received strong approval, being recommended by 77% of critics. So, my take was that this was very much a retro Metroid or Castlevania type game, jumping on platforms, side scrolling, the power ups, the attacks. However, the art direction, though inspired by that retro 80s techno type format, had its own type of swag. Like they kind of made it their own. They took what they liked about it and made it their own. The story seems cool. You learn more as you go, and the fights and the weird thing is the eating of like your enemy. Like you kill them and then you eat them. To me, that was kind of weird, but it's cool. I mean, that's how you get your, your stats up. So, well, is it lit? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say the game is lit, especially if you want that nostalgia feeling, but something new and not having to play the old stuff. Because you get that nostalgic feeling, and the game has that nostalgic look, but it's not the old games. Graphics look great. There's no limitations because of the type of art direction that they went with. So yeah, I'm gonna say that the game is lit, and you should definitely check it out as one of the free PlayStation Plus essential games of the month of February. Undisputed. Undisputed is a boxing video game developed by Steel City Interactive and published by Deep Silver. The game was released on October 11th, 2024 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. Undisputed was announced in April 2020 as Esports Boxing Club before it was renamed in September of 2022. Undisputed was released via Steam Early Access in January 2023 and is the first licensed boxing video game since 2011's Final Fight Night Champion. Undisputed is a fighting game based on the sport of boxing. The game features over 70 licensed fighters, over 60 individual punches, as well as 50 different attributes and traits. The game also features a female roster as well as licensed trainers, cutmen, and managers. The game features various mechanics such as loose and flat-footed movement, which affects the speed at which a fighter can move around the ring. The game features three major boxing organizations: World Boxing Council (WBC), World Boxing Organization (WBO), and International Boxing Federation (IBF), and the fictional SCI Championship, with their versions of championships being available to win in the game's career mode, which allows players to become the undisputed champion of the world. So, I played this game for about 30 minutes, and it's a boxing game. I will say the graphics look really good. Like, I did a match of Bud Crawford and Alvarez, and like both of them look great, but the attention to detail on Alvarez's freckles was done very good. Like, those graphics was dope. Deep Silver doesn't slack though. Like, Deep Silver, they don't slack. They don't drop crap. So, and it sounds like the game was developed for quite some time before release. So, that's a good thing. So, you have a lot of the big names in the game, even some older names in the game, or older greats like Muhammad Ali's, and I think Joe Frazier's in there. But it's notably missing some people. And my biggest problem, or my biggest fighter, or biggest issue with the missing fighter, is that Mike Tyson is not in this game. I looked throughout the entire roster. I went and looked at all of the available DLC, because they got DLC for extra fighters and extra fight looks and stuff like that. And Mike Tyson is nowhere to be found. How the hell can you have a boxing game without Mike Tyson? I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to license his likeness. I don't know what it is. Who knows? But I think it's a few fighters missing though. George Foreman wasn't in there. I don't think I saw Evander Holyfield. I don't think I saw Lennox Lewis. Deontay Wilder is there. Tyson Fury is there. The fake Tyson. You also had Jake Paul, which I found comical. Part of the Problem Child DLC, appropriately named because he's a fake fighter. And I just feel like they should have figured out how to get all of the real names that we would want. Mike Tyson hasn't been in a boxing video game in a very long time, and I'm still not understanding why. So maybe we'll do some research and find out why Mike Tyson isn't in any of these boxing video games. I don't think he's been in anyone since Punch Out. And at this point, it's 2026. By now, he should have his license back or whatever that is. But I don't know what the situation is, so I'm just making stuff up at this point. Is the game lit? It's all right. I'm gonna say it's cool. It's not too lit. It's enough. If you want to play a boxing game with some good graphics, it's great. Like the mechanics are cool, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it's lit. The mechanics are cool, um, and the graphics are really good. And yeah, my only issue is no Mike Tyson. So that kind of makes it unlit for me because if you're gonna have a brand new boxing game come out like this, Mike Tyson needs to be on there. He's a legend. Prime Tyson was a force of nature of the fact that we will never see again. If we do, we've made no progress in society. So yeah, that's my thoughts for Undisputed. Like I said, it's free this month on the PlayStation Plus Essentials tier for February of 2026. Check it out. It's free. If you play online, you got it for free. Check it out. If you like boxing, I think you're going to have a good time. It's good for when you have friends over. Because, these days, you don't have to have friends over to play with people, online. And the cool thing about it is it has an online mode to where you can play people online. Then you have career mode where you can create a boxer or play as one of the many boxers in the game. So that's cool. There's a lot there. They have the female boxers as well. So there's that. But still, what sours the whole thing for me is no Mike Tyson. But other than that, it's lit. It's a boxing game. I mean, you're not going to get game of the year from a freaking boxing game. I don't ever think that's going to ever happen. But it's a sports game. So if you like boxing, you'll like this. Check it out.
Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown is a 2019 combat flight simulation game released by Bandai Namco Entertainment. The first new entry in the Ace Combat series since 2014's Ace Combat Infinity. The game was released for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in January of 2019, and for Windows in February of 2019. A Nintendo Switch port was released in July of 2024. Ace Combat 7's plot marks the series' return to its traditional setting of Strange Real, and follows the exploits of Trigger, a fighter pilot who is assigned to a penal squadron following the accusation of murder in the midst of a war between the countries of Osea and Eurasia. The game features support for virtual reality until January 18, 2020, offering a set of missions developed for the PlayStation VR headset, as well as several downloadable content packs offering new missions and content. It is the first game in the Ace Combat franchise to be built on Unreal Engine 4. Ace Combat 7 received generally positive reviews from critics and became the highest selling entry in the series, with over 7 million units sold across all platforms by January of 2026. Like the rest of the Ace Combat series, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown forgoes a realistic flight model in favor of faster, arcade-like gameplay to increase its accessibility to newer players. The player can also choose novice or expert control settings. The latter enables the players to execute realistic aircraft maneuvers such as rolls, high G turns, and cobra maneuvers. The game features 28 different aircraft with an additional 9 as downloadable content, and the F-4E Phantom II offered as a pre-order bonus. As with previous entries in the series, most of the aircraft are licensed from real-world manufacturers, although a set of fictional superplanes are also included. Several aircraft in the game make their series debut, such as various members of the Su-30 family, as well as upgraded versions of older aircraft like the Gripen E and the A-10C Thunderbolt II. Players earn an in-game currency, military result points, via gameplay to purchase additional aircraft and equipment through a tech tree. The player begins the game with an F-16C and is able to unlock the MiG-21 and F-104C starfighter after the fourth single-player mission without using MRP, with the F-22A Raptor, Su-57, and fictional X-02S Strike Wyvern as top-tier aircraft in the tech tree. Each aircraft is equipped with standard missiles for both air-to-air and air-to-ground warfare, as well as another special weapon,
Special weapons, including anti ship missiles and laser weapons, are used to boost an aircraft's ability to carry out air to air or air to ground attacks. Equipment purchased may also be used to boost the performance of the aircraft beyond its base performance, such as higher spec engine or airframe parts to enhance its speed and survivability, respectively. Only 8 upgrades may be applied at any time. Weight limitations limit the number of specific type of upgrade that can be applied, and certain upgrades are only usable in the multiplayer mode, while others are only available in the game's single player mode. For the first time in the series, clouds interfere with aircraft, hindering the player's vision and targeting systems when passing through them and rendering laser weapons ineffective due to refraction. In addition, aircraft briefly ice up and stall after staying in clouds for too long, and lightning strikes temporarily disrupt controls and sensors. Each aircraft also carries a limited supply of flares that can be deployed to evade missiles in critical situations. During the single player campaign, players complete a series of combat missions that tell the in game story. Players are given an in game briefing prior to a combat mission, where they are informed of success parameters, expected opposition, terrain features, and weather conditions using a 3D map display. Players complete missions by destroying various air and surface targets, as well as accomplishing specific mission targets. AI controlled wingmen accompany the player through the campaign. The player may choose to engage in additional minigames, such as in flight refueling or landing. These minigames can be skipped, but reward small amounts of MRP for completion. The player may choose to play in the multiplayer mode regardless of any progress made in the single player campaign. The multiplayer mode comprises the team deathmatch and battle royale modes. Both modes are PvP, where players shoot down enemy aircraft to earn points against a timer. The two modes differ in that Team Deathmatch involves two teams of 2 to 4 players each, whereas Battle Royale is a free for all mode, shooting down top scoring players and players using higher tier aircraft confers more points than shooting down worse performing or lower tier players. If a player's aircraft is destroyed, they respawn after a few seconds. When the time limit is reached, the team or player with the greatest score is declared the winner. So I played this game for about 30 minutes, and it was kind of weird because it started out with this story with the young lady talking about her grandpa and his war buddies and how they taught her how to work on planes and how she built the plane, and then she takes off in the plane and the plane starts getting shot at, and then it goes into a whole nother part. Like it goes to like a military briefing and then you're shooting down enemies. It's very accessible. So anybody can just pick up and start playing. It's nothing that's going to scratch the surface. No, I did not play in expert mode, so I didn't try that part. It was cool to see that it had a VR support. However, this game came out for the PlayStation 4 and had modes for the PlayStation VR, original VR headset. So my PSVR 2 headset will not be able to play those, unfortunately. Plus, they ended support already, per the previous information that I mentioned. So, this game is pretty cool. I mean, it's all right. It's not something that I would normally play. I've heard of Ace Combat before. They've been around for a very long time. But I'm not going to say that this is lit. It's all right. If you want to play arcade style flight simulator like Afterburner, for those that remember Afterburner from back in the day with 100 times better graphics, check it out. It's one of the free PlayStation Essential games for the month of February. So definitely give it a try if you want to shoot down some other planes with some missiles. Enjoy.
Thank you for watching Are They Lit Tho? February 26th, going over the PlayStation Plus Essential Tier games. I appreciate everybody that's been liking and subscribing my videos. We are growing slowly but surely, but it's a marathon. It's not a race. I mean, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint contest, so we're going to make it happen. Remember, once I get to 500 subscribers and get monetized, I will be doing a giveaway for a Lit Gaming swag bag. So, other than that, I appreciate everybody watching, liking, and subscribing. And remember, shut up and PTFO. We're going to keep it lit gaming. J Smooth signing off.
Lit
gaming.